back to the SML podcast. My name is Field Journal 007. I'm here with Primetime 000. We're bringing back the podcast. Long time since the last one. A lot has happened since then. Madden 18 has released. We're coming here live with our thoughts about the game. We've had probably, 3 weeks since release date. Prime, what are your thoughts about Madden 18 so far?
It's a game where they added little in franchise, but I think it's a solid step in the right direction.
Three things that you like, three things you dislike about Madden 18.
Like the adjustment with the engine, adding fireworks stuff. Don't like the lack of details in franchise mode. Once again, just lack of details. It's always gonna bite EA. What about yourself? I don't know if I got three things.
No, that was basically one and one. I guess first would have to be I like the fact that you can do defensive adjustments again. I can, like for man-to-man or just zone for that matter, I can put my best corner on your best receiver and they can play ball. I like that you can make coaching adjustments beyond the defensive adjustments, such as like an aggressive pass rush, being aggressive as a ball carrier. I like that I haven't got into it a whole lot, but I do like the total control passing. I like the fact they somewhat added a feature or kind of build upon a feature. It's not something I've started to use yet. I haven't really played much Madden, to be honest. I've played a total of probably about 6 games since I bought it release week. So really, I just haven't really dabbled with it that much. So far, the SML, you and I have both only played one game. Your takeaways from your game week 1?
Lack of defense, just guys not covering well, and then just a lot of kind of gimmicky looking plays. Hopefully it's just something we can get corrected moving forward. But once again, it's still early. After we get some sliders in, EA patches a few things. Still early in the cycle to where I'm not concerned. I don't think it's. I think it's at where Madden 17 was at in its early cycle, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. You have to wait. You drop $60. You have to wait for them to patch something, and then it fixes certain things. Inevitably, it will mess up other things. It's like they don't care to actually put out a good product. They're just willing to collect on the cash cow. I guess that's just the way it is. But I guess for my game against the Chiefs, one play that offensively the Chiefs had stuck out my mind was a play where 3 Patriot defenders were LeGarrette Blount just kind of bounces and like almost somewhat rolls out to the left and rumbles on for a touchdown. So like you said, there's just certain gimmicky plays, and I don't think it matters if it's competitive or sim mode. I know that's a hot topic in the chat. I played probably about 5 games on competitive mode on the lobby games, and there was and I've seen you play games on there as well, and I've seen just as many stupid bailout type plays. I remember watching you. I think you played an online game against, I want to say the Vikings, and I think there was back-to-back drives or back-to-back plays even where you should have had the interception, and for one, your defender dropped it, and then 2, it just went right through your guys' hands and went to the receiver, so it's still the same gimmicky stuff. So I don't think it really matters that much. I think that we're just gonna have to rely more on trying, like you said, try to find the right sliders to roll with as a league, and see what happens, and just keep on recorrecting. Gotta have a plan of action, and then have corrective action if necessary. I don't feel that, I know, because like some of the sliders we look at, they put like the passing down to 25 accuracy. I don't feel like it's that overpowered, because even with Tom Brady with the 97 arm and high 90s accuracies, there were still, a few balls here and there that he was missing out on, and so I don't feel like the passing's totally over control. I think we may wind up going down to possibly somewhere in the 38 45 range.
It's just better to slowly do it than drop something all the way down to freaking 25 and then get in a game where nobody can complete a pass. So we'll slowly bump it down. It's going to take about 4 games, probably 4 advances, but we'll get there. And when we do, we can still make adjustments throughout the season. But once we get a good baseline, we probably won't be making many adjustments. Like I said, around week 5, week 6, and then that's what it is.
Last few seasons of Madden 17, you had the best roster available in Madden. You'd built the team through free agency. I want to say mostly through free agency. You drafted a few guys, but most of your guys were free agent pickups to build that defensive line, which made it a force. And then you made a big trade for Odell, and then you made a big trade for Gronk in the last season. And you had a team, and many guys would comment on it. Although you did still lose some games that you should have won. This year you're back to where you got the worst roster in Madden. Your predictions right now for this season alone, can you and will you win the Super Bowl with the Colts as they are now?
All right. Well, first I want to comment. I did start off with a bad team last Madden, won the Super Bowl. Then I built a good team, won a Super Bowl. Did build through the draft, built through free agency, traded for Odell. Drafted some defensive linemen. He ended up like 99 overall. Then I signed. Like you said, some solid guys. And I think that team management is a trait in Madden that you have to be good at as well as just playing the game. And so if you're not good at that, and if you're not being active with signing your guys, you can't really complain about somebody who's just good at doing that, or if they're always on trying to make some moves. And as for, and I'm not saying you particularly, but I know there was guys, and some of them aren't even in the league anymore, but people whine about that, and it's kind of stupid. But yeah, my team's 74 overall, and I'm confident about my Super Bowl chances. I think I'll win.
I guess a few other things to touch base on. For one, you had, at the end of Madden 17, I'm speaking on, you had the career leader in interceptions.
Yeah.
You took a scrub linebacker. You took him because his baseline speed stats were good. You used recover with the middle linebacker. You finished with 80 or 80 some odd interceptions. And once again, you picked up the same guy out of free agency. Was it Lance Lewis?
Yeah, his name's Lance. He didn't even have a picture last year. He's like 55 overall, and he ended up being like 94. So now I picked him up again. Got a pick with him. So yeah, I just no picks. Hopefully, start getting some picks with them and try to win a couple of Super Bowls with them.
So I thought that was just kind of a neat tidbit. I wish that we could have had the picture from like a stat line from last year or hit whatever, and then throw it in the podcast. But unfortunately, we don't have that. I guess a few other quick hitters. We'll talk about some real life stuff. The Colts in real life are without Andrew Luck. He missed week 1. They're shutting him down for week 2. Your predictions on how long this is going to go on? I'm hearing at least until October.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't come back for the Cleveland game, which is week 3, then he's going to miss the Seattle game in week 4. I don't think they're going to put him back in that one. So he'll come back week 5 against San Francisco. It's a home game. It's an easy team. And it's the Peyton Manning statue game. It's going to be a sold-out crowd. And I think that's the game you kind of work him back into. It's going to be in October. I think he's going to start practicing this week. He'll make a push for the Browns game. And if they want to throw him into the fire, against Seattle, you can do it on Monday night. But Jesus, it's in Seattle. And, I don't know.
So I guess another prediction about that, you were pretty outspoken on what games the Colts were going to win this year. You even told me that they were going to beat the Rams week 1. You said the Rams weren't a very good team. And I kind of said, well, they weren't a very good team the last time the Colts played them. Andrew Luck was healthy in that game, and the Rams beat the doors off them. And there's just certain teams have always matched up against the Colts really well. And you could say Peyton Manning's teams, even when he's on the Broncos, certain teams match up against these certain teams really well. It seems like the Rams, and maybe their front 7, whatever it is, they match up against them really well. And the point is, can they win any game or any games without Andrew Luck? If so, which ones will they win without Andrew Luck?
Well, if Luck's out for the season, obviously they're going to win 2 or 3 games. I think they can beat Cleveland. They're not going to beat Seattle. Like I said, in that 4-game window, they're going to need to come up with a win against at least Cleveland, and hopefully they can get one against Arizona without Johnson. But
so you want them to go 2-2, but it's more than likely they're going to be 1-3.
1-3.
And if they're 1-3, what does that do to their chances of winning the AFC South?
Well, if Houston continues, AFC South's not that good. I give them about a 35-40% chance of winning AFC South if Luck comes back 1-3.
And that's if Mariota doesn't find his stride again and the Titans go on a tear.
Because the Titans, I know, they didn't look that good against the Raiders. And then Jacksonville would just beat Houston. So, it's kind of right now
a toss-up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting.
I got one. I know we talked a little bit briefly, current event, switching gears off the Colts. I'm a big Mayweather. How did you feel the fight was, Mayweather-McGregor? I know you're a McGregor fan, but how did you feel the fight went?
Yeah, they should have let me go out of my back. I get a little woozy when I get tired, they should let me go on my back, and I'm not a huge Mayweather fan just because from what I've seen, what happened in the Pacquiao fight, the way his defensive strategy is every time where he likes to wear guys out by either run around the ring or like he did against McGregor where he would duck or constantly grab him. It's a strategy. It's not illegal, and that's probably the reason why that's the reason why he's 50-0. McGregor, if he was gonna go balls out and win, McGregor should have gave everything he had in the first 3 rounds and got knocked out or whatever. Because it was a feat to say that he went against a guy that's 49-50-0, and he went, what was it, 10 rounds with the guy.
10 rounds.
But really, he went 8 rounds and then stumbled through the last 2 until the referees shut it down. I do feel like professional sports in general, outside of the UFC, have gotten very soft. And honestly, I'd rather have seen him just let McGregor get knocked out too. I mean, he's a professional. It's not like if they would have picked you and if you win the McGregor fight, you're getting $100 million. They pick some Joe Blow off the street. For the guy that doesn't practice taking hits his entire life, that hasn't done this, is not a professional fighter. McGregor's not going to see that immense brain damage. It's not like Mayweather's hit power is that much astronomically larger than the guys that McGregor goes against in the UFC. So I just would like to have seen it to go the distance just because I hate seeing something stop before it's over with. Especially when you're paying $100 for a pay-per-view and everything like that. It was a good fight. Obviously, it wasn't the outcome that I wanted, but it was a good spectacle and good for McGregor. He got the biggest payout he's ever going to get his entire career.
Yeah, and I think he's going to turn more hybrid boxing. Like, I'm a Mayweather fan. Obviously, I think that if it would have gone longer, McGregor would have got knocked out. Unless if he had a crazy recovery, which, I guess is always possible.
But you get that you get some rest in between the rounds, and he could have had a surge for the first 20 or 30 seconds.
From 9th round going to the 10th round, I was kind of expecting it didn't happen. But at the same time, you always have a controversy if you end it early. But with that being said, it was entertaining to see Mayweather kind of walk him down. Or in the Pacquiao fight the whole time, he was being more defensive, just backing up, jab, back up. And he was actually going for the knockout. After the 4th round, you could tell that was in the sight. So it was interesting to see. Something we'll probably never see again because, the boxing's kind of dying after Mayweather's gone. There's not really anybody left. Pacquiao's getting old. There's no real boxers. Everybody else is just going to be going to MMA now moving forward as that's kind of become prominent. So it's probably the last time we'll ever see a cross sport like that in our lifetime. So it's just interesting to see,
Yeah, I guess I got 2 more topics to hit on. One, I'm not in your fantasy football league this year. My thoughts on fantasy football are I don't like it. I don't like the fact that there's really no skill involved. We had a buddy of mine in your league last year that pays no attention to football whatsoever. He watched some videos on YouTube. He Googled what players he should draft. He came up with the draft board strategy. And the only reason why he was interested in watching this is he watched that show called The League. Anyway, he was into it for a while, and he was winning some matchups. And I drafted Todd Gurley last year, and he had a piss-poor season. So my fantasy season was terrible. This season, I'm not in your league. I'm in another buddy's league, unfortunately. I'd rather just be done. But I've won my matchup this week. How's your fantasy team doing, and how's your league going this year?
I'm 0-1 right now. I did get I took Bell in 2nd overall pick, and then 2nd round I came back and got Elliott, and then looks like he's going to be not suspended now, so I feel like I'm going to be pretty good. But it's kind of weird. It is kind of some skill, but a lot of it is luck, just injury wise, and who kind of blows up. So I don't know. It is frustrating. It's not like it's less. You have less control over it than like Madden, which sometimes it seems like you have no control over either, even though you do.
All right, and the last subject is the Patriots were the Super Bowl champion last season. They had that huge comeback against the Falcons, as everyone should know by now. And they played the Chiefs, and Chiefs had Hunt. His first career touch was a fumble, and then he had a coming-to-Jesus party, and all of a sudden he blew up, had an amazing game, and the Chiefs beat the Patriots in Foxborough. Brady did a lot of un-Brady-like things. The Patriots did not play like the Patriots. The only thing they did was play special teams. They did not tackle well. The receivers did not catch the ball well. and they didn't do a lot of bubble screens, the little crossing plays, the things that the Patriots are known to do. I saw Tom Brady on one drive throw 2 or 3 streak plays, which are not like the Patriots. Do you predict that the Patriots are finally, and I think the Patriots are going to go where Tom Brady goes. So if Tom Brady goes down, essentially the Patriots may as well. Is this the end of the Patriots dynasty or just the end of Tom Brady? Or do you think that this could be the usual, a little bump in the road, and then the Patriots resurge and wind up going on a playoff run?
I think they'll resurge. I think that I don't think they're going to win a Super Bowl. I think they'll make the playoffs, obviously. I don't think anybody probably has them not making the playoffs, barring injury. But this is the last year we'll see Tom Brady as a, high-level quarterback. Just Father Time's undefeated. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd like to see, just because when you get a sports icon, you don't really wish them ill will, just because really ill will, but there's really just what other quarterbacks are there right now that are consistently on their game? Andrew Luck goes through spurts. Matt Ryan goes through spurts throughout his career. Aaron Rodgers may be the only other quarterback that's, consistent guy but he's really, to me, he's just not quite at that in his career yet, where he was Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Brett Favre, where it was just truly like everyone's in awe, and Brady's at that twilight stage of his career. So I'd like to see him resurge. I saw him throw a 60-yard throw and get the completion. So I don't think he's all of a sudden just bad. I think that it was some bad play calling, some bad decision making. I think that they'll get back on it. Maybe the Chiefs just, they played well. They got after Tom Brady, and I think it was just one of those games the Patriots dropped, and maybe what they need. Who knows? They might wind up 15-1 at the end of the year.
And they could. And another thing with Brady's, same thing that happened with Kobe. They kind of slow down, and then they're not as good, a little more easy to like, and then they maybe they'll make an announcement. It's their last year, and then people start they start maybe loosening up on their hate of Brady, and a lot of people have, if you notice. Like Brady 5 years ago was like easily the most hated player. A lot of people nowadays they're not hating on Brady anymore. I don't know why that is, but
it's because you don't have Peyton Manning. You don't have a lot of guys that are his age to compare him to.
Well, it's just the fans Peyton Manning never hated on Tom Brady.
No. I'm saying the fans don't have anyone else, to love or to hate. So Brady was, the easy guy to hate when you got easygoing Peyton Manning, and the guy didn't, sit there and his team didn't run the table every year, and that the Patriots are the constant favorite, and so it's easy to, I guess, to get that fatigue of liking that team. I don't know, and plus there was also, it didn't help with Spygate and everything else throughout the Tom Brady's tenure, but
yeah, I guess it just seems to me like, obviously for Colts fans with Manning being gone, you don't have the Manning-Brady thing, and also, like, I have a buddy who's an Eagles fan. It just seems like over time, I don't know if it's Spygate or if it's just no one, like, appreciating him, like, what he's done, and then, you don't got much time left, and then when he's gone, that's the end of an era. The 90, what is it, late 90 era quarterback, early it's done, so then you're going to move on to the mid 2000s, early 2010 quarterback, and Tom Brady's the last of a dying breed. Maybe that's part of it, and then, people are just realizing that, it's the end of an era. And a lot of people grew up watching Tom Brady. He's played for, 17, 18 years. Some people were watching him since they were 12 years old. Now they're 30 years old. And Brady, that's all they've known. And then when he's gone, it's kind of like a void that's missing out of football in a way, a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of pretty much how it was for me when Peyton left the Colts. As soon as I picked up a Madden game, that's who my quarterback was. And then he was no longer on the Colts. Just for a long time, it just didn't feel, the same when you watch a Colts game or whatever, because you just used to seeing 18 under center. So I get what you're saying there. But we're almost at the 20-minute mark, so it's time to cut this podcast off for now. I'm sure a lot of people have already clicked off the video.
I agree.
If you haven't yet, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to, when you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button. That we can stay up to date on all these podcasts. Also, follow us on Twitter at Sim Madden League, and you can follow the Patriots on Twitter at SML Patriots to stay up to date on all of the Patriot updates. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for watching the video. You guys have a great day.